kids, drug addicts.
So most of us were binge eating. Some of us were binge drinking. We can binge watch.
Just doing some stupid things, just selling drugs. Or
Ooh, the best type.
Okay.
Adult kind of cartoon.
Having fights at airports and being pulled off planes because they're too drunk.
A crime story.
Spoiled brat.
Pavel Priluchny.
I don't know. I have a soft spot for that.
If you're watching it in your native language, is trash.
Lots of things that were okay back then, they're not okay now. And you just watch and you start thinking
The drama.
Yeah.
I would say The Simpsons is probably responsible for Americanizing British culture. Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Big Apple School Podcast, where the goal of this show is to help you improve your English skills by listening to us. My name is Benjamin, I'm the host of the show, and today I'm joined with three other wonderful guests. So our first guest today, where are we going to start with?
The first guest is Katya.
Excellent, welcome Katya, and then we have,
Ugur is here.
and last but not least,
Olga.
so yes, another freezing day here in Novosibirsk, so we all walked here. And well, did we all walk here? 'Cause
Yeah,
I
yeah,
walked
right.
here.
I walked here too, yeah.
And we start almost every podcast talking about how bloody freezing it is here in Novosibirsk.
Oh, but you know what? A friend of mine texted me today from my hometown. She lives in my hometown right now. And she's like, oh, you know, it's kind of got warmer right now. It's minus 45 and it was minus 60 the other day. So let's just take a second to appreciate that we're not there.
Minus 60. That's another level altogether.
Oh, God, yeah. There's actually a little bit off the topic, but there is a documentary with Tom Hardy where he went to Yakutia and he was afraid to die over there because of the cold. So, yeah, another freezing day, but we're here in our warm studio to make
We are
another
all right. We are
episode
doing
of a
good.
podcast.
Yeah, we are doing good.
Yeah, what else is going on?
I don't know. I guess everything is
Not
the same
much.
on my, not much.
Yeah,
Everything is
so
same
we're
on
all,
my side.
have you finished your Olivia salads? from
Didn't
New
make
Year's?
much. So,
Yeah.
it's all good.
Yeah, I ate it.
You ate, did you try Olivia salad or?
Russian
I
salad.
haven't tried cooking it by myself, but I tried, of course, and I like it.
Oh, cool. Well, have you had it before you came to Russia?
Yeah, we have the same thing back in Turkey. Yeah.
No way.
As a Russian salad. We call it a Russian
They have
salad.
the same in
okay.
Italy, in Spain, in Argentina.
No way.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, because you have the doctor's sausage.
Well, in Italy, a student of mine told me they have prosciutto instead.
Well, that's much nicer, to
I
be honest.
think we're kind of getting off the topic over here.
Sausage,
Don't get me
you mean?
started, Benjamin. I can talk a lot about food.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, by the way, for our listeners, I wouldn't advise saying doctor's sausage to people who don't know much
Ooh.
about Russian culture because you say doktorskaya kolbasa, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very Russian thing. So I would not advise saying doctor's sausage. I would just say
Bologna.
maybe bologna is the
Huh.
word. Yeah,
Mm.
I think it is the word. I don't eat too much bologna,
No, I
but
get it. Yeah. Okay.
yes.
Anywho,
Anyway, so let's do some housekeeping before we get the show started. So
housekeeping.
housekeeping want to make sure that all our listeners are aware of what's around us. So we have a after show to this wonderful podcast episode, which we definitely recommend that you check out. And if you want to improve your English skills, you can find access to a vocabulary list, which is part of the Telegram chat, the Big Apple School private Telegram chat. So there in that chat, you can speak to us and you can practice your English skills and get access to vocabulary lists. And you can also see special footage of us behind the scenes as well. So definitely find out more information in the normal Big Apple School Telegram chat where you can find all the info about how to sign up. Also, we have a few comments that we need to address here that we have on our YouTube channel. So hello guys, if you can see us on YouTube. We have someone called GF. I like that name. It's like girlfriend. But GF, I guess they are initials. So GF said, thank you a lot for the podcast. It helps me so much. Maybe you would wish to discuss something about new films and the bad situation about cinemas in Russia. I think that's interesting. The bad situation about cinemas in Russia. Do you think cinemas are bad in Russia? I don't think so.
I think it's more about not the cinematography as much, but about the situation that a lot of companies
the
left.
distribution of the film.
So the distribution, the cinema's kind of dying out. But it could be a fun topic to talk about, you know? So kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Thank you for a suggestion.
Well,
As a
yes,
side
thank you for his
quest,
suggestion.
Yeah, we can
Yes.
talk about that one, yeah.
well, also we have 2 new participants this week. We have Alyona and Zlata. So welcome. Welcome.
Hey.
And another thing to announce, as we've mentioned before in previous podcast episodes, we have a online speaking club, and Katya
Yes.
hosted a online speaking club this week. What did you talk about?
We talked about time management and productivity and how to deal with a burnout if you have some, how to deal with procrastination. It was really fun. We had so much fun talking about it. And that was one of the live streams where people actually took part so actively. I was so happy to hear them talk.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's good that they participated
Oh my
because they
God,
got
yeah.
to practice their English skills and yeah, it's even if you're shy, even if you're scared of making mistakes, it's okay. Nobody's going to judge you in these speaking clubs. So we definitely recommend that you take part in them. You can find more information in our Telegram channel for the Big Apple School. Also, I've got another comment I want to mention. It's from Stella O, and this appears to be on Telegram. So Stella O said, "Огромное спасибо. I've listened to the discussion in the conversation club today." So the speaking club we were talking about. "And I really like Katarina's ability to involve participants in the
thank
conversation. I was really impressed with speaking and the grammar skills of the participants. It seems that I understood everything, but it turns out that I am at the lowest level in speaking and grammar. Oh, don't worry, Stella."
Well, I know that Stella visits the live stream to listen. So you can do, if you are still, you know, shy to speak, you're afraid to speak, you're always welcome to just listen.
Listen it.
And
Yeah.
if during the conversation you understand that, hey, I actually think I've got the guts to speak, just raise your hand and do that. We're always welcome.
Yes.
That's
So participate as much as you like. And don't worry, Stella, about your level. You're here to learn. You're here to improve.
Exactly.
And we're here to provide a supportive environment
Yeah.
where you don't have to worry.
Judgment-free zone.
Exactly. Judgment-free zone. You can sound like an idiot and nobody's going to care. It's absolutely fine. Well, you have to make yourself sound like an idiot when you're learning languages.
It's inevitable.
Yes, you have to
Right.
test the boundaries in order to know what the boundaries are. So it's extreme.
Yeah.
Well, one way we like to learn languages is by watching a lot of TV. I love to watch TV.
Oh God, yeah.
And especially YouTube. And today we're going to talk about...
Isn't really YouTube really TV though?
I consider it TV
Okay.
because it's on my TV screen.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
all right.
That's how, okay. Fine.
So we're going to talk about binge watching. And that's something
Yes.
that I believe almost all of us are guilty of.
Yeah.
Well, before we start, how would you define the word to binge?
Doing a lot of something in a row because we can have, well,
Excessive.
we've recently had
Excessive, exactly.
New Year holidays. So most of us were binge eating. Some of us were binge drinking. We can binge watch stuff.
Yeah, so that's binge. To binge, and the preposition is on. So to binge
Binge
on
on.
something. And usually we think of binging when it comes to alcohol. So binge drinking. So if you binge drinking, would you classify it as someone drinking too much in a short period of time and then not normally drinking throughout the week?
I don't know. It could be someone who's been drinking for several days, you know, as well.
It could be that.
Mhm.
Yes.
It usually happens in the airport. So you have a flight to catch and you had like 45 minutes or something, or you binge drink at the airport, like 7
That's so
beers
funny.
all at once.
You mentioned binge drinking at airports. I, as someone who who won't stop talking about aviation, I've binge watched.
You should have seen this coming.
Especially for you, man.
I've binge watched
That
so
was for
many
you.
YouTube videos of people having fights at airports and being pulled off planes because they're too drunk.
How did we end up here? It doesn't matter what the topic is. We always somehow end up talking about aviation.
I'm
At
sorry,
least
but yeah.
one comment per podcast. You know, we can have a drinking game based by it. Like drink every time Benjamin mentions aviation.
It's my
Count
anchor.
me in, yeah.
I'm all in.
I'm all in, yeah.
So the binge watching. This is the type of binging we're going to talk about today. So yeah, but what is it? What is binge watching?
Well, it's when you watch, I would say the definition is when you watch perhaps 2 or 3 episodes or more.
I would say at least 2 or 3.
Minimum, yeah.
Minimum
And
in
then
one
the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
in one sitting.
Yeah.
In one sitting, yeah.
So if you, and we're all guilty of that. It's, to be honest, it's not really something I'm ashamed of because
No, not at all.
that's the century we live in. It's the era
Yeah.
we live in. We live in the era of TV and not even TV anymore.
TV shows, I'd say.
TV shows.
And can you call a person binge watcher?
Yes, you
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Good question.
Noun.
Yeah. A binge watcher.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yes. So we add ER to the end of everything. So let's start. What have you been binging on?
In my life or lately?
Yeah.
Lately.
Because, you know, so I keep a list of TV shows that I have watched, and currently it's at the point of 84 TV shows. Have I binge watched most of them? I might have. I might have not, mind you. But yeah, lately, I think the last TV show that I binge watched was Dharma. I did it over the New Year holidays.
Well, I'm not familiar with Dharma. Tell us more about it.
So it's a TV show. Actually, the main actor, Evan Peters, got a Golden Globe for playing in this TV show. It tells the story. It's called Monster, the story of Jeffrey Dahmer, and it tells the story of Jeffrey Dahmer, who's a serial killer who was operating in 1990s, 1980s. So it's based on a true story, and it's horrifying.
Yes.
I'd say
It was like on 6 episodes, I guess, right? Or
8 episodes.
8 episodes.
Eight episodes.
Yeah. That was a good one.
By the way, just a note for our listeners. We say series in English, not serial.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've talked about this perhaps before. I can't remember.
So you can call them like TV series or TV shows.
TV shows.
Because
Yes.
very often I see that when I say TV show, people are like, oh, you mean, I don't watch that. It's the reality show. Like, no. TV show means TV series.
A cereal is something different. It's
Yeah, yeah,
something
yeah.
we
Exactly.
eat.
It's a breakfast food usually, or some people eat cereal
Yeah.
at night.
What about you guys?
Well,
Last TV show?
recently I've been binge watching what's an older TV series. It's called Major. You know, it's a Russian.
Oh, the
TV
Oh,
Russian
yeah,
one.
I've heard of that one.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I watched the first 2 seasons before I came here to Russia over 2 years ago. So a while ago. But I forgot about it and I decided let's pick it up again because I watched it with English subtitles back then. And I wanted to see if I could understand it without any English subtitles. And my wife is definitely helping me very much with regards to this. I'm finding it quite difficult at times, especially because Major, and just to give you background, for those of you who are not familiar with it, it means silver spoon in English. That's the rough translation. And Major is someone,
Major.
well,
Primary.
yeah, well, it means that it's usually like a son of an oligarch or a son
Yeah.
of a very wealthy person. And in this TV series, Pavel Priluchny, I believe that's his name, yeah. He is the main character and he's a spoiled major, a silver spoon. Well, I don't think we can call him a silver spoon. He's just a son of an oligarch.
Spoiled brat.
A spoiled brat, exactly. But his father forces him to join the police force. And he actually turns out to be quite a talented police officer. And where I have trouble understanding it is when they're using police slang, jail slang.
Yeah, I see.
I really want to learn how to understand these words. I don't necessarily want to use these words in Russian myself, but I really want to be able to understand it.
It's
And
like
that's-
have a bit of passive vocabulary.
Exactly. So I'm just focusing in on the show in order to improve my language skills. And I'm annoying my wife so much because every 5 seconds I have to ask her, please pause.
I kind of feel like we have to make a reference that we actually have a podcast episode about TV shows and learning the language. So if you want
Yes.
to hear more about how to learn a language while watching TV shows, check that out. I think it was several months ago. So
Yeah,
that.
you can definitely find that on our website where we have a huge selection of podcast
Yeah.
episodes and
Database,
videos. But yeah,
Olga?
Database of the podcast.
Yeah,
yeah.
but binge watching.
But Major, great TV show. A lot of people, who was it? GF, he said the cinema was bad in Russia. Major, it's a bloody good show. I'm really impressed. It was made back in 2014 and they had a few other seasons a bit later, but I can
Don't look
easily
at me.
watch. I
don't
can
know.
easily watch 3 episodes in a night without a problem. So
Okay.
yeah.
Mhm.
But I don't normally binge watch too many TV shows. I binge watched Ozark. Have any of you seen Ozark?
Yeah.
Heard about it.
Great
the lead
show.
role was also in Arrested Development, I guess, right?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
I don't know his name. I don't remember his name, but the actor was also in the Arrested Development. That was a kind of nice series too. But yeah,
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
Ozark,
definitely
yeah.
recommend Ozark, but it might be a little bit difficult for our listeners because there's a lot of context that you have to understand about the states, and
backstories and
if you can
everything.
overcome
Wait,
that.
Ozark, where does the action take place? Because Ozark, I know Ozark Mountains
Yes, it's
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Missouri.
in Missouri, but
It's all
Ozark
about-
Mountains also in Arkansas.
Oh, right. Well, Missouri, Arkansas.
Missouri.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's Lake Ozark. Is,
Lake Ozark.
Yeah, Lake
Not
Ozark.
Ozark Mountains.
Well, they're kind of named after each other.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Not
yeah,
that we
it's-
show off any sort of geography knowledge over
Yeah.
here. No,
No, I love geography. It's a great topic.
I love to show off.
I love.
You love to be
Missouri.
informed. Yeah. I
Well,
feel I'm
Missouri is a
informed
bit of a. I mean, there's not much going on there. It's St. Louis.
I love how you were finding words, you know. Like, how do I put it? Missouri.
Miserable Missouri. Sorry, I don't mean to criticize Missourians, but come on, is not too much going on there except for beautiful nature and a lot of
Well, yeah.
violence and
Say Ozark, cool TV show.
great TV
It's on
show.
my to be watched list.
Yes, but I saw not poster, but I saw well, I guess you could call it the poster on Netflix, and it didn't look too appealing to me. I thought maybe this is kind of like
It's like a symbol, right?
well, I'm just more of a fan of non-fiction, not total non-fiction, because I like Major and James Bond, but
That is another reason why almost every podcast we hear from Benjamin, oh, there was a documentary I recently watched.
right.
yes, exactly. I binge watch on documentaries for sure, but Ozark was particularly gripping, and I would classify it as a thriller.
A crime story.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a crime-related story, so definitely recommend that. Well, or
Yep.
tell me what have you binged on?
I binged on the last 2 seasons of Family Guy on the Christmas and New Year vacation, plus the last episode of Trailer Boys. Have you ever heard the Trailer Boys?
No, I haven't. Tell us a
That's-
little bit about it.
Trailer Boys is one of the best thing came out of Canada. I don't know why another thing, but yeah, it's a Canadian series,
Oh, cool.
and they had like 8 seasons or something, and they had 1 movie, and I didn't have any chance to watch the season.
I wonder if they speak with a Canadian accent. I don't know, because it's really hard to tell the difference between
Yeah.
American and Canadian accents.
in a way. So, but it is kind of cool
Yeah.
to differentiate between what you hear and what you know or learned in a way.
Yeah.
So it's basically about 3 hillbillies or rednecks. They're living in a trailer park and they're trying to earn their lives just doing some stupid things, just selling drugs and
Yeah.
selling like all
Interesting.
illegal
So it's a
substances.
Canadian Breaking Bad, basically.
Kind of. And they have one supervisor and who is also a drunk guy. And it's basically rotating around their kind of
Is it?
sick.
Is it like a comedy?
It's a comedy, but it's a black comedy in a way. So,
Ooh, the best type.
So I definitely recommend our listeners to watch that. So they will like it.
And would you recommend that our listeners watch Family Guy? Do you think it's too fast to understand
It
for
might be
learners?
too offensive, maybe.
In a way.
Yeah.
In a way.
So we have Stevie and we have Peter, so you can expect anything at any time. So I don't know. But if they like, they would definitely give it a go.
Family Guy is really funny. I just find it so intense.
Yeah.
There's so much happens in such a small space of time.
Also, it has some moments where you're laughing and you're like, I'm not supposed to be laughing at that.
I'm going to be in hell, but
Yeah, I'm gonna be in hell
enjoying
for
it
that.
Anyway. Yeah.
No, it is. They are very clever.
It's quite peculiar.
Yes.
Let's put it this way.
But it is fun. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So it took me like in 4 days to finish 2 entire seasons, like in 18 and 19.
Mhm.
So that was fun. Yeah.
How many
Okay.
episodes are in a season of Family Guy?
It depends. In some seasons, like in 14, some seasons
Oh, okay.
15, some seasons, like the first couple of episodes were like in 18, 19. So it depends. It depends on the writing process, I
It's
guess.
been going on for a while, Family Guy, hasn't it? Since
Like
the early 2000s.
2000s, like 2001 or 2. It was created as an anti-hero against the Simpsons, but
Mhm.
The Simpsons have been going on
that's
forever.
Yeah.
They're still doing great.
And they're telling me Doctor Who is a long TV show
That's another whole
Another iconic
Yeah.
one, yeah.
that hopefully we'll
Yeah,
touch
yeah.
upon.
Well, The Simpsons is a real childhood favorite of every. I think in Russia. Did you have The Simpsons?
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
Russian,
Yeah.
I really wonder what Homer
Well, the
Simpson
thing is
sounds
that-
like in Russian.
The thing is that when I was a kid, for example, we only had like 5 channels, and for some reason MTV was one of them. So, and that's where they showed The Simpsons. But the thing is that the timing was so inconvenient, so I only watched it like briefly, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. So I didn't really understood what was going on.
Mhm.
Yeah, and also I'd find it really tricky to translate a lot of the jokes
There is
from The
there are
Simpsons.
so many cultural references, you know, and you sometimes feel like you lack this sort of background.
Information and background, yeah.
I'd say The Simpsons is probably responsible for Americanizing British culture,
Mhm.
Well, you know,
which is why it's probably better to concentrate more on American English because in
it's
England,
more widespread.
exactly, in England, everyone understands most American words, whereas in America, not everyone understands
Not everyone is a little bit of understatement here.
British people. Yes. But The Simpsons definitely played a huge role in that. As a child in the UK, I watched The Simpsons, I think, almost every day at, what was it? It was like 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Did you have like a routine for The Simpsons?
No. For me, it was The Charmed.
For me, it was like the Rocco's Modern Life on Nickelodeon. Have you ever heard of it?
Yeah.
No.
Sure.
You know it?
What?
Rocco's Modern Life. It was kind of
Okay.
an adult kind of cartoon characters. So
Well, of course, you grew up in Turkey. So in Turkey, do they dub all the cartoons?
you can choose. You can choose on the remote. But when I was a little kid, they were kind of dubbed in Turkish.
Okay.
But after that, you can choose like an original
Oh.
or subtitles or whatever.
Everything is dubbed in Russian.
Yeah, say, because when I grew up in Brazil as a little kid, I remember knowing The Simpsons in Portuguese.
Uh-huh,
And then I
interesting.
finally, because, well, I am a native English speaker, but like I grew up watching The Simpsons in Portuguese and I didn't really understand that that they actually spoke English. And it's kind of like a blind man seeing for the first time.
Yeah.
It was quite an experience. So yeah, Olga, tell us about your binging experiences.
So I've been watching on American Dad lately.
Okay.
I really love it. I'm on
Mhm.
season 16. So
And that has
yeah.
a similar kind of tempo to Family Guy,
I
doesn't
guess
it?
so.
Same
Yeah.
creator,
Yeah.
Like South Park as well. So
I
like
love South
my
Park.
favorite. One of my
Of course,
favorite.
yeah, I
Absolutely.
stopped watching that for like a couple of years back. Yeah.
I haven't watched it for a
It was a
while,
full-
but
yeah.
it was
But they're a
epic.
new series, I guess.
I haven't even followed them for a while, to
They're
be
also
honest.
Canadian. Yeah. That's the second thing.
Well, they're Canadian.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no,
Trey
from
Parker.
No, he's from Colorado. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
he's from
But
Colorado.
they had a concert, like anniversary
I'm pretty
concert
sure.
in Colorado. So
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
All right.
So, and another thing is, you won't believe it, America's Next Top Model. I just love it. love it. It's my childhood. And, the first seasons took place at the beginning of the 21st century. And due to pandemic, lots of people, have been rewatching it and finding out that actually, it's kind of problematic show because, lots of things that were okay back then, they're not okay now. And you just watch and you start thinking like, okay, the society was...
You mean the political correctness or something?
Everything.
Okay.
Like everything, definitely.
Okay.
So when you just watch and you're like, okay, the society was different. So yeah, it's interesting to see. Yeah, I'm not there for, like fashion, but for the
drama.
Yeah, it was... That's just,
I mean, this is what is appealing about some of the reality shows.
Yeah,
it's kind of a guilty pleasure to sometimes watch a thing or two. I sometimes watch one reality show as well.
Jerry Springer kind of things.
I love reality TV, as I've mentioned before. It's
fun.
It's amazing. And if you're watching it in your native language, it's trash. But if you're watching it in another language,
right?
it's gold.
I feel it. Absolutely.
And I've definitely spoken about this. I have spoken about this before for sure. But I really, really recommend that our listeners watch English language reality TV. And you may think, oh God, reality TV, that's terrible. I'm so above that. I'm so intellectual. I want to read Charles Dickens and
sure.
Okay, well,
good for you.
If you want to have a modern vocabulary base, and if you want to understand how people really speak, and if you can't understand movies, well, you need to watch reality TV.
So that's why I'm watching
have fun, basically.
And which parts do you find easier to understand? Which parts do you find more difficult to understand with reality TV? Because I find, like I said, with Major, there's different types of registers. And I find the more informal registers really difficult to understand.
I think it's always like that.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. Like you can study a lot, but still there are new words, new phrases, and you're like, okay, will I ever learn this? But
I mean, have you talked to teenagers in Russian? You also sometimes talk to them. It's like, do we speak the same language? I thought I thought Russian was my native tongue, like native language. And then you talk to teenagers like,
I don't know that word in a way, right?
Right? Like, oh my God. So yeah, it's impossible to know everything in any language.
In any language, yeah.
But if we talk about America's Next Top Model, which is, again, amazing. So what I love about that as well is that, the girls are from different parts of the USA, even, different parts of the world, and the accents are absolutely different. So, you understand some people better, and, sometimes you're like, oh, okay.
So you have someone from like Tennessee and someone from Minnesota.
Yeah, right.
That's actually a really good point. So it's good to acclimatize yourself to the different accents. But what's your favorite American accent? Do you have a favorite?
A favorite to listen to, or
Texas,
or favorite to
Texan accent, like
Texan drawl.
Yeah.
It's like favorite to listen to or favorite to make fun of.
Let's do favorite to make fun of.
Oh, definitely Southern.
Southern, right?
Oh, Southerns are great.
But Texas
they are great.
Kind of,
oh, no, I love that accent. I think I would love if I didn't have
what
a British
about New
accent,
Jersey? New Jersey accent.
New Orleans, maybe.
Not great. No, to be honest, if it's a really heavy one, it's pretty cool, actually.
I love accents in general, in any language. So there's something that, kind of, I don't know, I have a soft spot for that. As Benjamin has made fun of, and I'm going to remember that until the end of time.
So Katya accidentally slipped into a Liverpudlian phase.
I didn't slip. I did it on purpose, okay?
Scouse accent phase.
It was not Scouse. Oh, God. No offense to Scouse accent, but... No.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. Anywho, binge watching.
Yeah, we were talking like TV. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Get back from accents.
Yeah. Come on. Let's keep it together.
So Americans Next Top Model. And what kind of dialogues do they have? So just drama, just bitching about each other, or?
Kind of, yeah. But still, I guess that's what real language is like, right? So when you meet a friend, you just, you gossip.
Don't we all bitch about each other?
Sometimes, I guess. So, my point is, you just have like basic dialogues, like, I don't know, drama dialogues as well, which I love so much.
Yeah, I agree. Drama is wonderful.
I know it's staged, but still, it's my guilty pleasure.
It's staged.
Of course, it's
Sure,
scripted, of course,
yeah, like all of the reality shows are script, I guess.
No, they're not.
I'm so sorry,
Not-
but I guess
Have you just spoiled my day?
I'm so sorry.
Well, I watched.
Can you imagine Jersey Shore being scripted?
No, I think this one is for real.
Well, I watched. What is it? Судебное дело.
Oh, that's all scripted.
So it's a
What is
court.
that?
It's a court show in Russian. And,
That's all scripted.
I used to watch it when I was young.
and I thought, well, what's the point in watching it if it's all scripted? I mean, it's great from a language perspective. It's great for me as a language
Fun.
learner, but
Yeah, just for
it's-
fun. Like
but it's not fun if you know it's not real.
I know.
Oh, you're not supposed to know it's not real.
Yeah.
Who knows? Yeah.
When we were growing up, we didn't really know that they were scripted. So,
It's just something
Okay.
you find out
mhm.
Well,
eventually.
Jerry
Like you.
Springer is
yeah,
scripted,
scripted.
which is really unfortunate as well.
Dr.
But-
Phil
The what
too.
and the who?
Dr. Phil is not scripted at all, is it?
Really?
I believe some of it is.
You do not understand what they're talking about.
Dr.
do you?
Phil,
Sorry,
for our
Dr. Phil.
listeners, he's a real psychiatrist, I believe. I need to double check whether he's a psychiatrist or a psychologist, but he has a
Plus, he's a
really
public
famous,
figure,
public figure, really famous American TV show where he brings problematic people,
mostly kids.
drug addicts, you name it. He brings it onto he brings them onto the show.
I guess the people are real, but the things
They're happening. Yeah. They may be scripted.
Staging
Mhm.
that the things
Well-
they're elevating. The
Well, he tries to
argument.
Yeah.
help people solve these strange issues, and it makes for amazing TV. Even if you think it's trash, it's great from a language learning
Mhm,
perspective.
mhm.
And to be honest, I love Dr. Phil as a person. he brings
I
discipline.
think both Ollie and I do not know what you guys are talking about.
But
Well-
Benjamin looks so happy. So.
Yeah.
You'll watch
He
it, you'll be
loves Dr.
addicted.
Phil a lot,
You'll be
yeah.
addicted. It's just pure drama,
Maybe we should check it.
pure
It's going to be your
Okay.
next
delicious,
Yes.
guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
juicy trash. It's
Oh,
amazing.
just the way I love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You just don't feel guilt watching that. You just enjoy yourself. All right, something is happening over there, and you're safe on your couch. All right, do
Okay.
that. That's cool.
Absolutely. So
Mm.
I've definitely binge watched a bit of Dr. Phil,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, we're all big bingers basically.
Big binges.
Well, how has TV changed over time? Because binge watching is, would you say it's a new phenomena?
Sure.
Well, it depends on how you define new. I mean, the first time the binge watching kind of started was 2013, which was 10 years ago.
No way.
10, yeah.
10.
It's 10
So when
now.
you
You're
think
kidding.
like 2013, you're like, oh, not so long ago, like a couple of years. And then you're like, damn, 10 years ago.
already, yeah.
So I would say compared to the history of television, yeah, it is a new thing. Compared to how many TV shows come every year, no, it's not.
Mhm.
So, but how it's changed. We started binging. That's how it changed.
We were waiting the new episode of the series just for a week.
yeah.
So right now, okay, we can watch it in all season in one
Mhm,
sitting. So
mhm.
that's the thing.
So what did you do as kids? Did you binge?
Not really.
the
I
DVD.
think.
thing is that being a kid was so different because now we have internet. Even if
Mhm,
an episode
mhm.
comes, like one episode per week, you can watch it at any moment. When you were a kid, you don't watch it, too bad. You ain't gonna
You
have an
miss it,
opportunity,
yeah.
to rewatch it or something. Like that's it. You didn't have a chance.
Go read a book.
Unfortunate times, yeah. Go read
So
a
that's
book,
why I was
yeah.
running home, like the Charmed,
Oh,
a new
yeah.
episode. And if I ever fell asleep or something, I was like, oh no,
By
how
the
am I going to find out what happened?
I've rewatched this one like all the seasons. So
Really? I mean, now when you're an adult,
yeah, and
kinda-
it's not that.
it kind of
great.
hits different. It hits different.
Absolutely,
You look at
yeah.
it like the wall. Same with X-Files.
Aha.
I started, when I was back in the US, I visited a friend of mine in New Haven, and she's like, what about rewatching, some of the X-Files? And now you see how overacting they are, and you're like, Jesus.
So amateur, right? Kind of. Yeah.
Right. it's
Scully
kind of
and
fun.
Mulder.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like late 90s, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
late 90s.
I remember that. Yeah, truth is out there.
The truth is out
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Oh, yeah, I remember that. I remember that. Yeah.
So yeah, that's how TV changed.
Well, you're an avid reader, aren't you, Katya?
I would say so.
So do you binge read?
I sometimes it depends on the book as well. So let's say recently I started reading a book, and even though it was hard emotionally, I binge read it within like a couple of days with a break on work, and sleep. So yeah, it depends, but sometimes.
Because before the advent of Netflix and all these streaming platforms, I remember people binge read the Harry Potter books.
I can actually see the difference because for the last 8-9 years, I've been counting how many books I've read. So I keep track of all the books I read. I've been doing that for the last like 8-9 years. So 8-9 years ago, so basically when Netflix was not even present in Russia, it just started to, it was already
Selected
existing.
countries.
Yeah. I was reading like 50 books a year. But then the TV shows appeared in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And suddenly it was no longer 50 books, but more about 30, 25. Now for different reasons, it's 19, 20. But
That's still good that you get through that many books.
19.
That's still a lot, I guess, nowadays.
That's kind of, that is something. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely slowed down on the reading recently.
Yeah.
Me too.
Because
same
of-
here.
But binge watching is
TV.
much easier
Mhm.
than binge reading.
Mhm.
You don't need to think much.
Sometimes you do.
Sometimes.
Yeah. You don't choose what to watch, or should I go for this one or this
There are
that
some
one?
TV shows that I think, you can try binge watch, and some people do, but I personally could never binge watch them, like Black Mirror. You watch a couple of episodes, you're like, I need a break. I'm in deep depression right
I
now.
binge watched those. Those were amazing.
I mean, they are amazing, but
Love
they're just
that and
so
Robots.
Most
thought
of them.
provoking.
I did
Yeah.
the same thing.
They give so much food for thought that after 2-3 episodes, I was like, I need a break. I need my fantasy. Give me something uplifting, please.
I need reality now. Yeah,
I think
yeah.
Black Mirror is probably one of the most groundbreaking
That
Oh,
was
God,
great.
yeah.
That was
TV
great.
shows
Yeah.
of all time.
Rewatch it in a decade to see what's come true.
I mean, there are a lot of great TV series out there, but
Yeah.
that one really shattered the earth
sure.
beneath me.
Genre defining kind of.
Yeah.
You can say. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, especially my favorite one was the Prime Minister and the pig.
Do
Aha,
not.
I
Do
remember that one.
No. You have a very
But you-
interesting
But do you know why that was?
favorite.
Well,
No spoilers.
okay, all
Don't.
right. The Prime Minister
I would
and the
personally
pig.
advise you just skip this episode completely and just start with season 1, episode 2.
But the reason why it
I
was
don't
so
remember.
famous
Did
was
he do
because
that? I don't remember that.
well, in real life,
No.
the Prime Minister. Well, that's why it was funny because
that's-
in real life it kind of was
Moving on.
semi-based. Well, that's a little.
Benjamin, moving on.
Please watch that episode.
That was a good one. Yeah, I agree with you, man.
Yes,
So-
thank you.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry,
Black
Katya.
Mirror, very black, very dark.
And you can see yourself on. Yeah.
Yes.
Mirror, yeah.
Yeah, really shakes you up.
Mm-hmm. That's
But
true.
I loved it
That's true.
in many ways.
Yeah.
I've got another question for y'all, using my southern accent
For
there.
y'all.
Better to release episodes once per week or all in one go?
What do you guys think? I kind of feel sometimes that I'm speaking too much. So I'm like, I'm sorry.
One go would be better, I guess. I don't know. I don't want to wait or that long for the new
I agree.
material to come up. And all right, what's gonna be next? What's gonna happen next? Who's gonna die? In a way. So in one go, all right, all square. Oh, you don't like that idea, okay?
Okay, I see the pros and cons in both
Mm-hmm.
kind of things. Because, for example, when some shows, let's say Netflix releases the whole season, and there are some people who watch the whole season in one go, but you don't. And then, there are spoilers bloody everywhere.
Oh, yeah, right.
You go to
You can
any
avoid
social
it,
media
right?
and you're like, sake, stop it.
I think one of the biggest cons of releasing all the episodes in one go is it's harder to appreciate all the
That's
hard
true.
work that goes into
It's also true.
the
'Cause then-
production.
But On the other hand, this is what has led to us being addicted to TV shows. Because, you binge watch the whole show and then inevitably you're going to ask, okay, what now? Now I need another show. Now I need another show. Netflix releases, I don't know if you are aware of this, but they release new show every single week, which makes it 53 new TV shows just by Netflix per year. And then you start watching a TV show and you're like, okay, I loved it. But there's only one season, which means that next year when the second season comes, you have to rewatch the first one to kind of, catch up and remember what was there happening in the first one. And that's it.
It never ends.
It never ends. It never ends. And you're glued to the screen most of the time as a result.
And you become a couch potato, just sitting there watching it and eat, drink, and do repeat. That's it.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's inevitable with computers and TV that it's going to happen to us.
Whereas when you have one episode per week, you kind of cherish it more. I remember when the last season of Game of Thrones was coming out, the very last one in 2019, I think it was.
You were waiting for
waiting. I actually got subscription for HBO just for that reason, so I don't have to wait for it to be like available on television or something. And it was coming out on Monday. I was, and a lot of people were gathering in different rooms. I was living in a dorm back then. So, and we had, some little like wine parties, snack parties. So we were watching all together. And the next morning it would be fun when you were in a dining hall, talking about the Game of Thrones. And have you watched? And there would be someone screaming at the other end of the dining hall. Don't you dare discuss it right now. No spoilers.
Right.
But yeah, you really were waiting for something. So it kind of makes you appreciate it way more.
Yeah. Well, for those of you who are watching the YouTube version of this podcast, you can see our wonderful studio, and it takes a lot of effort to set this whole studio up. So we
I love the smooth transition from topic to topic, but go on.
but yeah, but there's a lot of effort that goes into making films and TV series, and let alone this podcast. So much goes into this.
It's actually fun that usually people do not think how much effort is going towards making podcasts. So they think, you just get together and speak. Like, what can be difficult about it?
Yeah, it's not happening in that way.
And then they see how much equipment there is. Like, no way.
Yeah, there's a lot, and also the sound quality as well. Like here we have a whole studio dedicated to
post-production as well.
And
post-production, yeah.
So it's easy to just turn on the TV. Then you got to remember.
Appreciate your content, guys. Yeah. What you're watching, right?
Like, share, subscribe.
Appreciate, yeah.
By the way, do you always like videos? Because I'm very adamant about liking videos on YouTube
and commenting and liking. Yes,
I don't always comment, but liking is
because I know how crucial it is for vloggers, bloggers, and everything. So interaction is everything. So yeah. The same with like rating TV shows. If I'm ever on some sort of platform like
you rate the TV shows
sometimes, like Rotten Tomatoes or IMDb. So stuff like that.
Star rating and everything.
Yeah. I mean, I don't write reviews because there are plenty, without mine. But just rating, it's not that hard.
Well, that's an idea for our listeners. If you want to practice your English writing skills, perhaps you can leave a review on any website, or of course on the Big Apple School Telegram chat.
Right.
Don't forget
but you can leave reviews, and it's really good practice. And that way you don't feel like you have to do some homework. It's something that you genuinely want to do. And so
don't feel pressured, of course, but this is something what you genuinely want to do.
Exactly. So binge watch your little English language TV shows and leave reviews, and maybe that can be a new activity for you guys. So
and suggest something new if you have anything on your mind, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you're in the after show chat or the private chat for the Big Apple School, write some reviews and let us know what your favorite films are and TV series are, and we can have a look at your English skills in the chat itself.
Recommend you sometimes what words to use and everything.
Exactly.
Yeah, please come.
So yeah,
I love chatting.
Make a good review. All right, guys, we'll stick by for the after show. So we'll continue on with this topic.
Oh, there are so many things to discuss over there.
Absolutely, guys. So guys, check out our website as well, www.BigAppleSchool.com, and you can get access to a whole bunch of interesting materials, like we've mentioned before. So videos, podcasts, grammar articles, other interesting articles. And of course, you can learn more about the courses that we offer here at the Big Apple School itself. So thank you for listening right to the end, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
See ya.
See you.